Okay. Hey everyone, welcome. If you're new here, welcome back if you're a returning viewer. This is the Stitching Tendencies podcast, episode 2 for 2023. My name is May, also known as 3 Stitches Short on Instagram and Ravelry. And this is my little crafting corner and knitting and crochet world where I share what I've made, what I'm making, and what I'm probably going to make eventually. I live in the northeast area of Ohio with my husband and kiddos and little zoo. Today is February the 19th, 2023. Yeah, it's been almost a month, maybe a little bit more than a month, since I last recorded, and I'm off my game again because my tablet corrupted my file again. I've come to the conclusion that it's something to do with my SD card, and I hate it. Like, I'm about to just chuck this thing at the wall. I swear to goodness. So if you hate technology like me, give me a like. I really hate technology. I'm no good at it. Like, I don't know how I'm a millennial and I can't technology, like, not one bit. So, and what I really hate is that my first episode, like the first recording, I felt was perfect. It was raw, it was real, and now I feel like I'm rehearsed and repeating myself, and I don't like that. Because then I get judgy and weird about myself. So yeah, I have show notes. And now that, because what I do is I typically will do an outline and then go to my computer and transfer the file. And while it's transferring, because it can take a bit, I type my, like, outline into, like, full show notes, and I incorporate my links and all that information and stuff. And now I have, like, full show notes, and I'm like, I feel like I'm reading from a script, and I fucking hate it. So yeah, I'm not really going to go off of this. I might have to go and redo my notes. Okay, so where have I been? Well, that's a pretty loaded question, but I am drinking a White Claw tonight in blackberry. This is one of my favorite flavors. Ain't no law when you're drinking White Claw. I hate that saying, but I say it all the time. It's so stupid. Okay, so I am going to thematically kind of follow this, sort of. If I seem rehearsed, I'm sorry. My technology is stupid. But I last recorded on, like, January 17th, I think. And I had to record that, like, 4 or 5 times because my tablet kept corrupting the file, and then I got it fixed and it was working, and then I go today to record again and it's corrupting things again. So we'll see. I've had a few things test and they seem to be doing okay. But so I recorded January 17th. Well, January 27th is a really big day in my family. It's the anniversary of losing my oldest, Logan, who is, if you've looked at my site, you know that the first base I started dyeing is named in his honor. Okay. Well, so January 27th is his anniversary. And then right after that, I had to register my oldest for kindergarten. And that is a huge milestone for her. I am so incredibly happy that she is finally, because she loves to learn and she loves to read and she loves school and everything. So I mean, so incredibly happy that she's finally to the age where she gets to start enjoying those things that I know will be nothing but growth for her. It's such a great thing. But that is very hard for me because this is the point in Logan's life where we were right before he passed. And so just we're getting to the point with Lillith that she is doing things and she is experiencing things that Logan will never get to do and experience. So that was incredibly hard. Then, within a week of that, Lucinda officially turned 1 year old, which is also huge. Lucinda is my little miracle baby. Lillith has a heart condition that requires her to have a pacemaker. She literally can't live without a pacemaker. And when Lillith was 6 months old, we got pregnant with Leo. Leo also developed the heart condition before they knew all the details around the heart condition, and Leo wasn't strong enough. And so we lost Leo at about 35 weeks. Sorry. And so when we finally got pregnant with Lucinda, they had not only figured out the kinks of why it happens, but they also figured out how to prevent it. And when I got pregnant with her, they had an additional study going on that if prevention protocol fails, they are now studying how to reverse the condition, which is huge. Like, Lillith and Lucinda are 3.5 years apart, almost down to the day. And so for them to go from not really understanding why it was happening with Lillith to having a way to prevent it is huge. So that's another real hard thing that I've been processing and coming to terms with, that Lucinda is obviously doing things that Leo will never get to do. And so both my girls being rainbows and succeeding both of my boys is really hard on me. So it's been really hard. And I'm so sorry if this upsets anyone. But I feel like it's real important for me to be honest, because the mental health issues that I have had in dealing with the things that I have gone through is really fucking hard. But yeah, so that is pretty much where I've been. I've been doing a lot of work mentally. I've been celebrating with my kids. I've been doing what I need to do for my girls. We had a big party for Lucinda. Obviously there's a lot of, it's not too much work that goes along with physically registering Lillith for school, but it was some work. I had to track down some papers and stuff, so that's kind of kept me busy. It's just life at this point. And so thank you if you're still here. If you're still watching, I really do appreciate it. But I wanted to get that life update out there. let's see, last little bit of life news is I am going to be going back to work full-time. So there's going to be a shift of when I record for those weeks that I do actually record. Not that there's much consistency. But because when I go full-time, I'm probably going to be working on Monday through Friday. I am going to be recording and doing podcast and website related stuff on the weekends. It's going to be the only time I have because there's only so much I can do during the week. I have an interview actually tomorrow with a different department and team within my company. So if you're watching this before like 4 p.m. on Monday, send some positive vibes, please. Okay, so that is that. As far as events ongoing and upcoming, we currently have the Finish It Feb 2023 make-along going on. This is being hosted with Cassie of Knit-A-Cass. I will link her channel down below. I'm also linking the FO and the chatter threads. We've got a little bit more than a week. So if you have finished something that is a lingering whip cast on before the new year, enter it. I want to give away some prizes. So yeah. And you're going to see 3 things that I'm trying to finish in the next week. I will probably only finish 2. Maybe. Okay, and then upcoming in March, I am participating in a knitting challenge for St. Jude's. It is a virtual fundraiser. The way it works is back in the day, they used to do in-person knit-a-thons. Not they as in St. Jude's, but as a fundraising thing. It was very common to do knit-a-thons where everybody would, like, people would sponsor a knitter and you would, how much you donated would be dependent on how much that knitter knit in the given time of the knit-a-thon that was going on. So similarly to that, you would still sponsor the knitter. The link below goes directly to my fundraiser page. And you sponsor me and we collaborate together and try to finish a project within the month of March. Now, as a little incentive, for every $10 donated, I am entering names into a raffle to win a hand knit custom pair of socks. It can be something as simple as you find something in my stash that you like and I will knit that for you, or I can dye a completely custom colorway and I can knit that for you. It's completely up to you. I will toot my own horn and say that my husband and mother exclusively wear my knit socks now. They love them that much. I almost exclusively wear hand knit socks now. They are, once you get the sizing right, they're pretty remarkable. So I really hope that you guys would be so amazing to consider donating, because literally without St. Jude's, my kids wouldn't be here. The device that Lily has is a St. Jude's. They were the only ones that made a device small enough to implant in her when she was getting her device. And it was in partnership with St. Jude's that the research that allowed Lucinda to be born healthy was done. So, like, not being hyperbolic at all, literally, my kids are here because of St. Jude's. So if you're still watching and you hear this, I would really, really love to help you. I would really, really love to have you donate to the St. Jude's cause. Yeah. All right, so onto the fun stuff. I am wearing my sockhead slouch hat. I don't know why I didn't write down what I'm wearing, but I am wearing the sockhead slouch hat by Kelly McClure. I do have the brim currently folded, so I do have like the whole 4 inches of the brim. The teal is Teal We Meet Again by Trilogy Yarns. And the fun variegation colors is Troll Hair by Happy Mermaid Yarn Co. Yeah, how fun that is. They are both in the Merino Cashmere Nylon 80-10-10 base. And they just worked super awesome together. So I made this last year. I don't remember the needles. I don't remember the size. And I was naughty. I did not put that in Ravelry. Thankfully, so far, it's because of my inability to answer questions about some things, I have gotten really good thus far this year in keeping my Ravelry pages up to date. Mostly huge thanks to Rabbit, which is the app I shared last time in the last episode, for having a platform that allows me to access the Ravelry database that doesn't cause me to have migraines, because that is a huge bonus right there. So that's what I'm wearing, and then I'm wearing my Grateful Dead shirt. It's very faded. You would think it's years and years and years old. No, it's only a couple years old, but I wear it so much it faded really quickly. So, all right, on to finished objects. Yay! So these were supposed to be your gifts for Lilith, but they didn't happen in time. So I started with the Rye Socks from Tin Can Knits as a base, mostly to figure out a good starting point for stitch count. And then from there, I just started tweaking the heck out of it. First thing I did was omit the garter section, because I don't like to purl if I don't have to. I did 2x2 instead of 1x1. I did the Shadow Wrap Heel by Earth Tones Girl. Denise from Earth Tones Girl. The Shadow Wrap Heel is part of her Socksploration. Here we go. And then I don't know. So I did a modified rounded toe from the Rose City Rollers pattern. It's very similar. I just took out like one of the repeats to make the toe not so long. So yeah, this is a really cool pattern. Really cool little modge-podge of hodgepodge. I don't know. I don't speak English. It's at least not idioms. This is a really cool little scrapped together pattern for kids' socks because it fits her really well. I'm kind of surprised at how well this fits her, which means it's probably not going to fit her for long. So these are going to go to her. I did 48 stitches on 2.25 millimeters. With that small of a circumference, I did have to use magic loop. Not my favorite, but it does work. So yeah, that is that. Now from there, I just added a few stitches. I think I went up to 52 stitches, and I was able to then work these in the round 9-inch circular. These are just little leg warmers to keep her warm when we go to dance, because she is involved in dance. She absolutely loves it, and she's gonna be the prima one day because holy cow, that kid likes to be the center of attention. Oh my god, she's the cutest thing. So she will, like, we'll be waiting for her class to start, and she's just like, hey, can I show you something, to like anybody within a 10-feet radius? It's really adorable, and they all love her. And then like the owners of the school are like, oh my god, she's such a teenager. I'm like, yeah, she is. So she picked out these two colors. These are both Cascade Heritage. I think I said that previously. I don't remember. I don't know what I have or haven't said because this is the third time I'm recording. But she picked out these colors and she said she liked them together. And when I showed her, there's a lot of dog hair. But when I showed her what I had for her, she goes, of course I didn't want those colors. I wanted, now she's saying she wants purple and blue with black and pink. Okay, kid. But, I mean, the fabric and the feel, I believe it's 75/25 for Cascade Heritage. It's a gorgeous feel. I do really like the fabric that it made. I'm just not incredibly fond of the colors. So I know it's weird because I do so much with blue. But it's just a little bit, I don't know, something about the shade. I'm not digging it. She said she wanted it, so she got it. And now apparently I have to start making purple and blue with pink and black. So, all right. Finished object number 3. So these are a hoe from last time. I started these. I did the whole sock during the knitting, during the test knit that I did for, I think her screen name is Blame the Knots. It's a cute little pattern. It has both clockwise and counterclockwise spirals. It's called the ambidextrous pattern. And it's super cute. I really like it. Look at these. They're so cute. Yeah, I totally froze like that so that hopefully it will pick that up for the pin, the thumbnail for the video. So the pattern is a long leg pattern. I adjusted this down because it was supposed to be for my husband. And then when I was knitting, I counted to my normal, I think 60 rows is what I do for my husband. And I started the toe, and I got to the point where I was like here on the toe, and I was ready to like put it on my magic loop and close it all up. And then I held the socks up next to each other. I'm like, these are not the same size. And so the second sock was a full like inch shorter. And so I went back and I corrected it. And then I had my husband try it on, and he goes, they're nice. I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, they're too big. I'm like, oh. So these are actually going to go to one of our favorite cousins, who is pretty awesome about the handmade stuff. So, yes. Oh, I did these, I did the large size, which is 72 stitches on 2.25 millimeters. So, yeah. All right, now onto the most recent stuff. Oh, look at that. So these are my January Desert Vista Dye Works socks. These were done like the 27th. It literally took 10 days from cast on to finish. And this is the second sock. They're like, if you look at them, they're pretty damn matchy. I don't exactly know why or how they get so far off that there's a new color here. But it really doesn't matter because that's the toe and it's going to usually be in a shoe or a slipper and nobody's going to see it. So I have started doing a very custom pattern. I do 64 stitches in my cuff, 60 stitches in my leg, and then 5 rows before I get to the heel, I go down to 56 stitches. I do the shadow wrap heel, and then I do 56 stitches for 50 rounds in the foot, and then I do the rounded toe from the Rose City roller socks. So all in all, a pair of socks is usually about 55 grams for me, and it's a pretty large, like a pretty long sock. And they are the best fitting, most comfortable socks I've ever knit. So I'm very, very happy. I only have one on a blocker because, so I got this blocker at Rhinebeck, and I went to use it, and I think that, like, it was cut, and then zero aftercare, because, like, there's rough, unsanded edges over here, and it's just very, very prickly along the sides, and so when I was putting this one on, it kept snagging, and I'm like, I don't want to ruin my sock. So I only put the one on because it was already going on. And then I'm gonna have to like go and sand these and seal them before I'm able to actually use them. So who knows, maybe I'll actually paint them too. But yeah, so this is Desert Vista Dye Works. The colorway is Heather in the Highlands, and this was my January sock. Alright, last finished object, and they are my February socks. Now, I don't know where I first saw it, but the one that comes to my mind like the most is Kevin and Ray with Needles at the Ready. They cast on at the color change, so you get like just a little blip of the previous color, and then like it starts the counting for the repeats, and you get practically perfectly matching socks. I really, really love this technique. It's not perfect. The amount of pink is definitely more in this one. I don't know how or why it gets off. It's the exact same gauge. It's the exact same stitch counts. Like, literally nothing is different. But again, it's at the toe. I don't care. So, these are my practically perfect socks. I love this little pattern. This is my own little recipe that I use only for me. And yeah, so look how pretty it is. These were, I started one on the 1st, and I got it done pretty quickly. I want to say it was done by like the 5th. And then on the 10th, it was this one that I did on the 10th. On the 10th, I had a meeting. It was an 8-hour training, and there's no way I could sit still for 8 hours. Like, that's wild. So what I did was I cast on literally 10 minutes before my meeting. And then when my meeting started, I just sat like this, and I was still engaged. I mean, I can knit and talk pretty well. I don't have to look at my knitting. So by the time we took our first break, I was like halfway done with the leg. By the time we came back from lunch, I was done with the heel. And then by the time we took our second break, I was like right about to start the toe. And I was talking with one of the instructors, and she's like, "Oh my God, I had no idea you've been knitting this whole time." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a coping mechanism for my anxiety." She's like, "But you've been so engaged." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have to look at my knitting to keep my hands busy." So then they had like a little celebration when I finished my sock, and I knit an entire sock in 7 hours. That's wild. I have always kind of like shied away when people are like, "Oh, you're such a fast knitter," and I'm like, "I'm really not." Like, I feel like it takes me forever to do things. But then I really just realized, like, no, you're fast. Like, an entire sock cast on to bind off in 7 hours. So yeah. I'm really, really proud of that. I want to say that's probably my proudest accomplishment in a long time. But this is, well, my proudest knitting accomplishment in a long time. So that is that. For myself, I use a 2mm needle. And I kind of already gave the rundown of the stitches, but 64 for the cuff, 60 for the leg, transition to 56 right before the heel, and continue 56 throughout the foot. I do the shadow wrap heel from Denise at Earth Tones Girl, and the rounded toe from Rose City Rollers. That's my sockies. Yay! Okay, so, please don't fall, guys. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Oh yeah, and then I got sick after Lucy's birthday, so yay. All right, on to whips. We will start with this one. This is just held in a Joann's bag, because it's big. It can hold it. But this is my craft room blanket. I am knitting this on 6.5mm needles. I don't have a pattern or anything. I literally just cast it on and went for it. I am about a third of the way through my second cake. I am using the Karen Latte cakes. And the color I believed is Iced Leaves. This right here, so right about here, is where I was the last time I showed this. So yeah, I've done quite a bit. Probably about 4 inches-ish, maybe 5. So not a whole lot for a month, but I really only work on this when I have nothing else going on, or I just can't think about anything, because thinking hurts on patterns sometimes. So if I really just need mindless, brainless knitting, this is my go-to. All right. The second whip is my Stranger Things cowl. This was a test knit for Lopsided Crafter quite a while ago. This is really, really late. Like, it's what it is. I'm not a colorwork person, so I've talked to her. She knows. I still feel bad, but I am using Kelburn Woolens in Scout, which is the 100% wool And I'm using the Scarlet Heather, the Charcoal Heather, and the Ocean Heather. It's living in my cute little spooky treat bag. And this is where I'm at. Now, I don't think that this is correct. I don't think this is where I was the last time I showed it. I think I was like up here the last time I showed this. But I know for a fact I did this, and I'm like into the last of the charts. I've got maybe 30 or 40 rows left in the charts. So I'm hoping that this will definitely be done before the end of the month. Like, this is one of the two things I'm like, yeah, you got this. Just do it. Overall, I love the pattern. I love the design. I love everything about it. I just am not a proficient colorwork knitter. And so this was like an attempt to get better at colorwork knitting. And I think I am. I really do. I think I am getting better at the colorwork. This has got a lot less. Like, it doesn't look like it because it's like wrinkly and weird. But I think it's got a lot less puckering than my last colorwork piece. So I feel more confident while knitting it. Once I get it washed and blocked, we'll know if that... Is that a drop stitch? That is definitely a drop stitch. Okay, hold on. I can't believe I even saw that. Where is my hook? That's a big hook. Damn. That's too big of a hook. Probably that's a... Yeah, this one should be fine. It's very difficult because this is like, there's 2 layers. Okay, I'm gonna have to deal with this later. I will just be pulling that. Let me look for really any more real quick. Oh, I was like practically ahead of schedule at that point. Oh my god. Well, I'm very happy I found it now and not when I was like blocking it. That's wild. The good news is that there is like a yarn over right there. So like I can see where it's supposed to go. So that's good. Wild. Okay, so this is my Stranger Things cowl. I thought I was doing pretty good on it. I'm just gonna put this away and go cry. Okay. Whip number 3. This is the last whip that I have that could qualify for the Finish It February cowl. Look at that. So cute. I love this like little basket. I've got 12 of these baskets. And I just realized today that it matches my Cricut. So this is my Painting Waves shawl. It's obviously like as if you guys know everything. It is a pattern by Mr. Stephen West. This is part of his painting collection, which I absolutely love. I already did the painting honeycombs. This is the painting waves. I absolutely love this. Like, this is wild to me. I cannot believe how gorgeous this is turning out. The stripes are the Practical Magic mini set from Trilogy Yarns Halloween Advent in 2021. My absolute favorite color in all of it is this right here. One Eye Blue, One Eye Green, which is a reference to the spell that they cast for Sandra Bullock's husband. The gray is Emma's yarn on the Practically Perfect sock base in the color Grayscale. They are both 80/20s, so when I'm going to mix dyers, I look for the base to be the same. Not just in content, but also ply. Because if you mix the plies, and let's say you're mixing a 2-ply with a 4-ply, you could end up with one part of the project pilling a lot more than the other. So these are both 2-ply, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I'm just double checking what I'm telling you. Yes, this is definitely a 2-ply. I love this. So I've already moved my marker because again, this is like the third time I'm recording, but I was like here when I was here. I had just finished this stripe when I picked it up. So in the last 2 weeks, I've done from here all the way up. And I have 11 stripes left until I'm done. So this should be very easy for me to finish getting done. I think by my timeline, I should have it fully finished by the 26th, which is great. The problem I'm having is I have already used each of these for the final time, and there are still like 8 to 9 grams of each. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make a matching muscle burra hat to finish using up as much as I can. 9 grams by 14 mini skeins. It's like 135 grams, which I would still probably have a little bit left over, but at that point I'd call it quits. I would be done with using the wool and be okay with that. So that is that project. All right, I have 2 more to show. This one is, oh, that just fell over. Great. This is living in my Love in Every Stitch bucket from Fat Quarter Shop. And this is something I've literally had in the back of my mind for about 1.5 years. It is the Long Summer Cardigan by Joji Locatelli. And I just needed something different one night, so I casted it on. This is my right shoulder. I left a stitch marker there because you have to pick up and do other things. But I am using Sheepgist Metropolis in, I don't think it has a color name. Oh, it is. Color is Lion, Lyon, number 078. It is 75% extra fine merino wool, 25% nylon. And I made an oopsie because the contrast color is 75% superwash merino wool. And I am using the Moon Glow Yarn Co. April Showers Fade Kit, starting with Glass Slipper. It's such a pretty color. I love this color. It's very Cinderella. And then it will go to Glacial Glow, which is really pretty. And then this one is Wishing Well, super cute. And then Starfall. So these are the 4 colors that I'm using. There is a 5th color, but since I'm using a cream base, I felt the 5th color was too gray to go in my palette. So I have 4 colors that I am using, and I am going to be doing 2 repeats for each color. So it'll give me a total of 16 stripes down the body. It is 1 extra repeat, but I do want this to be like extra long. So that is where we're at. Now the pattern calls for, I believe, 3.5 millimeter needles, but for what I had available was 3.25. I am a loose knitter, so I knew that that would probably be fine. Even with going down in needle size, I knew that my gauge would still be bigger than called for, and so I also went down in the size that I'm actually knitting. Instead of the 46-inch circumference, I am knitting the 42-inch circumference. And when I did I measured gauge a little bit in here. I did find that I was getting 22.5 stitches per 4 inches instead of 25 per 4 inches. So I know that my gauge is bigger and that it will make up the several inches that I am, if my math is right, I'm off by like 3 inches. I will have grown 3 extra inches, which will put me at about a 45-inch circumference, which is perfect for my body. So the math on that, at least so far in my head. Once I'm to the point where I can try it on regularly, I will do so. I'm just not quite there yet. And then the last thing that I have cast on and have been working on is living in this other Disney spooky treat bag. I love these bags by Knit for Brains. Absolutely love them. So I am doing a litmus cowl, and what I'm doing is I am holding for my main color. I am using my scraps of grays that I have. I've got some Coal Miner's Daughter by Lolo Did It. I've got some silver by Trilogy Yarns. And I've got this other one. I'm not entirely sure. I know it's by Robin's Promise, which is a dyer out of like Virginia, I think. But I've used this in like 4 projects at this point, and I still have so much of it left. So I'm hoping to just get it out the door. So those grays are my main color, and I'm kind of gonna fade into this. If I end up not having enough, I will use some of the grayscale, which would still fit in this color palette pretty easily and well. And then for my contrast colors, I am using the scraps of the Dragon Horde Yarn 2021 Halloween Advents. This was a 31-day mini set, By the time I finished, I had 13 grams each. So I only used like 7 grams of those mini skeins. So then doing the litmus cowl, I'm like, oh snap, I still have like 9 grams left. So what I'm probably going to do is, you know, I had 13 grams. I used my 5 grams-ish for the 11 rows in the pattern. And I'm doing this pretty much exactly to pattern. And then I still had about 9 grams left. So, and I have 31 colors. So I am probably going to use a few grams for a muscle burra and do a monster muscle burra with these scraps. And then I honestly, because I'm only going to use like 2, maybe 3 grams left, 2, maybe 3 grams of each of those for a muscle burra, because I have like, because 3 times 31 is 93 grams. So I would still have about 5 grams each. So I'm probably going to start a cozy memory blanket or something, because I'm still going to have like 5 grams of each of those. So I don't know what I'm going to do. But this is the start of a litmus cowl. My goal is to do 1 stripe per work shift. Now I work 10-hour shifts. And you know, it's feasibly, yes, I can absolutely do that. But sometimes I'm not sitting in meetings all day and I do actually have to help people. So this will be like if there's downtime between calls, or, you know, I'm feeling really anxious and I need to get my hands moving while I'm talking to people. That is absolutely something that my manager's like, yes, absolutely do that, because I can hear the difference when you're stressed. So that is the end of my whips. So let's see. Acquisitions. I do have 6 skeins of wool that have come in. I did not show them last time. This was one of them. This is Tea Broom from Desert Vista Dye Works. And let's see. This was one, Cole's Nature's Splendor. These ones, this is Hungry Hungry Hippo and Earl's Maleficent. Got 2 more. Oh, Scooby Dooby Zombody Doo. I love that. That's really cute. And I think, no, not that one. It was this one. This is called Babushka. It's a little more red, white, and blue than I thought it would be, at least as it is here. Hopefully it's not when it knits up, but cute. So, and I only bought these because I needed them to finish out the sock challenge for this year. My next purchase will be, so I'm probably not going to use the coupon that we get in March, because I don't want to buy too much and have more wool, but I will probably, so you get a free, if you make it to June, you get a free skein of your choice. So I'll definitely not let that go to waste. And then if you make it to September, you get a coupon. So I'll probably do most of my shopping for next year's wool in September if I make it that far. And then in December, you just get the special custom colorway for that year. So Yeah, that's what I bought. I'm actually pretty proud of myself that I haven't bought any other wool, because like I'm in a few destash groups, and it's very hard for me not to be buying from there. I really like destash. There's something about getting a second chance at like wool that's mostly discontinued that I'm like, ah, yes, I need it all. So I'm very proud of myself for not doing that. My goal is to acquire a collection of hand knit sweaters for myself, and for my children and my husband, and get to the point where everybody's wearing hand knit socks and hand knit sweaters. And I mean, you can't really tell that it's hand knit. Like, at least not with mine. That's a pretty damn cool sock. Like, you can tell it's hand knit if you're in the know, but like to the naked eye, it's like, oh my god, that's hand knit. Literally the reaction I got. I wore my love note for the first time around family, and a few people were like, oh my god, I love that, where'd you get that? And I'm like, oh, I made it. They're like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yeah, I did. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. I love it. It's therapy, literally therapy for me. People are always like, what can I get you for your birthday? What can I get you for Christmas? I said, well, they're like, you have a lot. I'm like, it's fine, because you're just prepaying hours of therapy for me. So yeah, reading and watching. I am still reading my Wolf Smut on my phones. Love it. Definitely wish they'd hire like real editors for those apps. That would be great. But I love the stories. I love the smut, because who doesn't? I finally watched Wednesday. Oh my god, I loved it. We watched House of Dragons. We've been watching Last of Us. Oh my god, Last of Us. That's a hard one to watch sometimes. So House of Dragons, Wednesday, Last of Us. I've kind of been like comfort watching. I've been kind of like comfort watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Love that movie, or love that show. Love the movie too, yes. It always gets me. They're like, oh yeah, the movie and the show are separate. They're not canon to each other. It's like, then why do they reference each other? Literally within the first like 5 episodes of the show, it references the movie like 5 times. It's wild. So I watched the 2020 Scream movie. I became very drastically aware that I have 5 stories to lock up at night, because I watched this at like 10 at night when my kids were in bed. So I became very acutely aware of 1, how many entry points there are to my house, 2, that I have a lot of freaking stairs, and 3, holy crap, I am not anywhere near capable of defending anyone from anything. So if they're going to do this, like, thank God it's all pretend. Because I would be dead. Ridiculously. It's bad. So yeah. Let's stop right there, because I don't want to freak myself out for tonight. All right, that is all I've got. So thank you. If you're still around, do me a favor, do those algorithmy things that it likes. Comment, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell so you get a notification, and I will see you when I see you. Have a great day, guys. Bye.